Hello. I am doing good. So let's see here. Let's see, speak and see. I'm gonna see if I can hear you on the stream. Okay, you need to go into your settings real quick. You cannot be heard on the stream. It should be. I need to quickly look. Sharing and broadcast. I'm pretty sure it's in. And then it's audio sharing settings. Nope, nothing yet that I can hear. Wait, because there's a bit of delay on the stream. Nope, still nothing. What is... I need to look myself and see what audio sharing include share party audio broadcast setting. Hmm. Okay. Have you seen if there's any other settings you've looked at? Because I'm trying to figure this out. Why you're not heard on the stream? That is weird. Why it's not? 'Cause I'm looking at all the ones to see if I can figure this out. Oh, go to the party. You might have your party audio settings changed.
Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing.
Yep.
Yeah, we're in. Good.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm going to mute myself while I set the grid. See you in a minute.
Yep. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the racing itself. I can make the game quieter. Cannot do much about my own volume. Let's see, this might be way quiet now.
Right, good afternoon, Symtik.
Yeah, good enough. Good afternoon yourself. Let's see here.
I've got a message from Compy starting at 10 minutes past, so we're nearly ready to go. Welcome to Race Lobby 2, Stint 3 of the DES WEC Championship, everybody. You still there, Sim?
Yep.
Excellent. Shall we get going then?
Yeah, it should be, I think, right about time for starting.
Okay, ready to start then. Let's go.
These conditions are rather treacherous, it seems.
Yes, aren't they?
But it'll be interesting to see what strategy some of the cars out there will be running when it comes to what tire compound they feel safe running.
We'll run through the tyres and have a look and see what people are doing.
race starts.
And they're off.
Into T1, that's a lot of contact from the Don car. The Don car must have... Oh, Don car's around. RX not having the best of starts.
So Alex Bosworth's on intermediates, the two at the front are on wets.
Mr. Hicks
And
is
everybody
on
else is on wets. So Bosworth's the only one on intermediates, everyone else running on wets. Bosworth moves past Mr. Hex into second, pulling away slightly.
Yeah, we had the Don car again, around again on before the final chicane. It's not been a great start for that Team Don car. Already being 31 seconds behind with the damaged front.
It's going to cause some issues in these conditions.
Yep.
Would you want to be driving with a damaged front in the wet Symtik?
Yeah, no, it's the conditions that we have right now on this track, and having damaged front with a car that's now going to want to go a direction you're not wanting it to drive. It's not fun. And
Agreed.
especially not picking up that damage so early on lap 1. Because he then either has to go fully off the stop schedule and stop really early, or he drives with it until he has to do his pit stop.
Yeah, getting the damage this early really means there aren't any options for him, is there?
Yeah, no.
I wouldn't want to be driving in the wet with damage either, so we agree on that one.
Yep. Especially now with these conditions that are starting to get to the more borderline aquaplaning on some places of the track. So you run down for
Yeah,
now.
the rain indicator's up to the second bar now, so it's pretty treacherous out there.
Yeah, grip level is not good for these cars. A lot of them are sliding around out of hard corners.
Very difficult to maintain traction. So
Team Doncar trying to make a move on the Veltman Motorsports. But it's not easy to make moves right now. With how wet the track is, the move has to be a very solid one.
Pretty close in the GTE class from 9, 10 and 11 with Director, D79 Tornado and Schroeder. Jay Tetsudo just in front of them. And not far in front of him is Massafra. So the leader running no aids at all. Bosworth's running some traction control. Mr. Hex's traction. Joe 90's got some traction.
Which is very understandable, especially in these conditions and these cars.
Absolutely.
You jab the throttle just the tiniest amount too much and it will spin your wheels and you've lost control.
Yeah.
So running that TCS1 could be the difference between having the car actually stay straight, or if you have it on zero, that little jab could make you spin.
Impressive stuff from TRG, XX Pro, XXX so far, out front, 3.5 second lead, running no aids at all. Clearly got very good throttle control on that car, wouldn't you say, Symtik?
Yeah, especially if you were able to run fully without traction control in this weather at all times. It's very impressive. I mean, it's impressive just to be able to keep a solid lap time goal you're aiming for every lap as well. But he's making that gap bigger for every lap we go. He's trying to expand the gap back to the Bosworth.
Yeah, it's a very impressive start from TRG XX Pro.
I wonder if he has a different name, because that's a very annoying name to say.
What should we call him from now on, Sim?
I don't know. I wonder if any of his teammates are in the chat and can tell us what he usually runs by. Or if he just runs by TRG Pro. So far, the top 4 and the hypercars are keeping somewhat close. All within 10 seconds.
Very good to see. Always nice to have close racing.
Yeah. The Team Dunk are trying to make up some ground after 2 spins and damage.
Oh dear,
That
bit
is
of contact there.
not what you want to try and do.
Let's take it easy, guys. Get past cleanly.
It's 2 hours and it's wet. Ooh, that's a risky one, especially in this weather conditions.
Absolutely, drifting out wide towards him.
Yeah, if it was dry, that would have been no problem, but in these wet conditions, that's a dangerous move.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely different driving, isn't it, in the wet on this game, especially with the physics update recently.
Oh, yeah.
Should be through now on the start-finish straight. Hopefully,
yeah, the straight line speed difference is mad on these cars.
Yeah, I mean, it's 20 miles an hour in my language.
Yeah.
Significant. Are you a miles per hour or kilometres man in Sweden?
We use kilometers an hour, but I run miles an hour in this game.
Okay.
Easier for all the leagues that run miles an hour.
Yeah, people seem to do different things. I've noticed some people in Britain, although we use miles per hour over here, seem to use kilometres an hour just purely because some of the settings on GT7 are only in kilometres an hour, and they find it a little
the
bit easier
gearbox.
that way,
Gearbox is strictly in kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, it has its positives. Using kilometers an hour. In reality, it is the more accurate, but a lot of people know miles an hour just because of, I mean, mainly, America. And to be fair, anyone from the UK is used to it.
Yeah, it's the usual trouble around the world, having different standards and different degrees of measurement as per usual.
Yeah, it's a battle for 8th place between Forest Rules and Tetsuro.
Good spot. Let's stay with this for a while.
These conditions cannot be fun to be that trailing car. The amount
No.
Having that spray come up in your camera angle, depending on what camera angle you play.
Are you
fun.
finding within the game that following a car closely in front of you affects downforce as well?
Yeah, I mean that's the dirty air that you get from following cars.
And I think it's, although it's not perfectly simulated anyway, I think GT7 simulates the dirty air relatively significantly, that you can certainly feel it while you're driving.
Oh yeah. I mean, the driver ahead of you will also feel it. Because the car ahead, when following, will have, the rear end will get more loose. Because you're popping that air bubbly ass behind. Which means you'll lose a little bit of rear stability.
Yep, agreed.
But they're really trying to force an error here out of rules.
Yep, I think it's fair to say he knows he's there.
Yeah, being able to say this close in these conditions it's gonna be a lot of pressure on that the rules.
What are we thinking? A little move down into the Dunlop turn here?
Yeah, that could be a good one. See how he does.
Yeah.
Alongside,
Here he goes.
falling a bit behind the
Inside.
straight line speed though.
Nose in front.
Yeah, he has
Off
inside
brakes.
lines, front side. First one's going for the cutback. It's gonna be a drag race.
Mitchell will have the inside for
Yeah.
the next corner. Nice move, nice overtake. Nice driving.
Defended well from the cutback as well. That's a big one. Because he's gonna now hope to be able to put some distance between them.
Over a second, moving up to nearly a second and a half now. Looks like Mitchell can move away somewhat.
Yeah, he now has a big gap though to make up if he wants to be able to catch Masafra and Dynamo.
Yes, but with these wet conditions, anything is possible here.
Oh, slide off track by Dynamo, could have ended badly. See here, Masafra trying to close in Dynamo.
Any cars you've tried in the wet sim that you think work particularly well?
No, not really. I mean, in reality it's any car if you slap high enough downforce on it. And then it also comes, main thing is down to driver skill. You can take probably any of the cars around the track good. It's just all down to driver preference and skill. I mean, if I have to say something, it's the Group 1 cars, the hyper cars. It's the downforce and the speed they have. It just works.
I have to confess I've yet to drive a GR1 car in the wet, so I'm afraid I can't comment on that.
Yeah, I mean, they're understeery, but something you're used to if you drive it a lot. Here,
But relatively grippy because of the downforce, I'm assuming you're saying.
yeah, you can have a bunch of downforce. But it's also all down to what you're looking for. In the wets, you might be looking for slower lap times, but a lot more grip through the corners. So you'll go way high on the downforce. Or if you're making a setup that's you're still wanting top speed from, but not lose too much in the rain. It's all down to like setups on the Group 1 cars.
And of course the setup in a wet race, obviously, if it does dry out, that's going to compromise them in the dry conditions later on, possibly.
Yeah, if it's a wet and dry race, it's definitely you have to offer something. But this will be wet all stint. So that is not a worry for them in this. It's for them, they can just have a strictly wet setup on for.
Right. So one less thing to worry about then, don't need to worry about dry setup later, because there won't be any dry.
Yeah, no, it's gonna stay this full wet scenario for the entire stint. Unless you're brave enough like Bosworth to run those intermediate compounds.
Yeah, the front three are certainly tight together still. 1.8 seconds between the leader and second, 1.4 seconds between second and third, so good start to the race for the front three.
Yeah.
The LMP ones are flying. Bosworth still the only one on intermediates. Impressive stuff.
Yeah, it's just sneaked over with this rain setting. It's just sneaked over into the second. Which, I mean, if you're good enough, the intermediates will do.
Yeah, they will, but personally, I wouldn't particularly want to be on intermediates
Yeah,
when
no,
the
that's gonna
bar
be
goes to
very
the
wet
dark blue
out
line.
there.
Yeah.
Not seeing much for wear on these tires though in these conditions.
No, not at all. And if it is going to remain wet the whole race, would we anticipate that it's probably going to be a one-stop for fuel, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big potential depending on, because you can take a lot of fuel since you only start with half a tank. And they can do a lot of laps in that half tank.
Yeah. I noticed in the previous stints, some of the guys were one-stopping and filling up with fuel completely, so on the
Yes, the
grounds
one
that the
downside
conditions
with
are staying similar, I see a
yeah,
similar sort of pattern developing here, maybe.
yeah, but the main problem with fueling up such an amount is you become very heavy. Because you add a lot of fuel by filling up to the max. It's another 50 liters of fuel and weight. Which in these conditions could probably be good to have that weight for the stability. But at the same time, depends on if you want to offer that much of your of your top end. To maybe get a bit more of that stability in corners.
Right, so the trade-off between top end and stability in corners versus the time taken to do another pit stop for fuel.
Yeah. I'm starting to get a feeling either something is wrong with the settings, because I'm still not seeing where, but that could just be... I don't know if you want to look at it.
Well, I hope not, Sim, because I'm the one who set them up, so...
Yeah.
I definitely put it on 1-on-1 and triple-checked, but... Let's have a look.
Starting to get around the back markers now.
Already?
Yeah,
Lap 10.
it's the wet is definitely making it easier for them. You hear Bosworth trying to get around.
Yeah, you can see the trouble getting the power down there.
Yeah, the GT cars are out accelerating. That is quite insane to see that the GT cars are winning out of corners compared to the hypercars.
It is, isn't it?
The hypercar struggles to put down the power with that turbo. Meanwhile, some of the... Yeah, especially that Lexus, I understand why it can beat them out of the corner sometimes. But that has not helped Bosworth to try and get past the TRG Pro. Put another 4 seconds between them.
And of course he's the only one on the intermediate, so it's even more difficult for him than the other guys.
Yeah.
Mr. Hex past the back marker, straight up behind Bosworth again. TRG Pro pulled out 3.6 seconds over Bosworth.
Yeah, him getting stuck with that Lexus was really just helped out TRG, because they had gotten real close.
Yeah, that's been costly. Lots of sliding around still. You can see the difficulty in driving these conditions. It's a grey old day at the ring.
Yep. Half-second penalty for Schroeder. Seems to be the only guy out on track currently with a penalty of any sort. Impressed with Bosworth though, having put that 209 down on those intermediates a few laps ago. Oh yeah, how were the settings? Were they the correct?
I haven't dared look in case anything happens to the game.
I can do it. Maybe. Just to make sure we have it.
I did hear some of the streamers on the earlier stints though mention that there seemed to be very little tyre wear early on.
Yep, it's
So
one. It's 1-1.
I'm pretty sure that's correct, isn't it, sir?
Yep. That just means, right, I forget, it's wet compounds in the rain. They will last a lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally nothing showing at all in terms of wear, is there? Nothing at all.
Yeah, no, we're on lap 11 in for the hypercars, and there's just...
Mr. Hex took a little dive there. Bosworth had to cut the final chicane.
That's a tank slapper. He jabbed the throttle just a little bit, and the rear end got happy.
Absolutely. TRGXX sets the fastest lap, first man in the 208s. Very nice.
That is very fast for these conditions. Now looking at it, they might have more. But he seems to have been pushing a lot that lap to make the gap bigger again. Bosworth only managing a 209.9 on that lap. That's a full second each put on Bosworth on that lap.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mr. Hex down in the 2:10.7s, so that's a big chunk of time gathered on that last section. Okay, so the top three through the back markers for now. The leaders coming up to Force Rules. Another slide down the inside, I suspect, into Dunlop. Yeah.
Yeah, he's passed right before they get in there.
Easily enough on the power, but the rain line's still pretty high at the second, just over the second line, so it's pretty treacherous out there still.
Yep, and with equals conditions mode, it's going to stay this rain for the remaining hour and a half, which is not the most fun thing. Because you want that sort of dry line to form, but with this weather conditions, there is going to be no dry line to form.
I must say, it's much more fun commentating than driving in these conditions.
Oh yes. I don't even know how many times I would have been around at this point. It must feel, for some of them, it must feel like they're ice skating out there.
Absolutely, and ice skating for 2 hours whilst your eyes are on stalks and every bit of your body tensed up is a fairly tough proposition, I would suggest.
Yeah. Bosworth and Hicks really running close the entire time so far.
Yeah, shall we stick with Hex for a while and have a look what's happening here? And we'll go back and see some GTEs in a while.
See if there's anything he can do to try and make a move on Bosworth. Which they might not try and make any moves on each other as their teammates. But it could also be down to who they feel are faster, who they feel is the faster.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Mr. Hex has been particularly shy in trying to attack Bosworth so far, so let's see how this develops. Certainly don't want teammates crashing into each other.
Yeah, I mean, in reality you don't want them battling at all. Because if they're battling, they're losing time.
Absolutely. And time loss is a no-no in a race.
Yeah, especially when it's an 8-hour one, it could come down to, depending on, maybe not milliseconds like a normal race, but that is a
Mr.
big...
Hex a little bit wide there. Oh, did well.
Yeah, that's a...
Did well to collect that.
Yeah, car is not gonna feel happy now, those tires are gonna be dirty.
Yep, it's going to be a few corners before that goes.
He's lost about a second from it. Just over a second. That's...
Another thing I think GT7 does quite well is simulate dirty tyres when you have been off-road as well, so...
Yeah, they really just don't work for a good part of the next few corners.
Yeah, all late move. Should be fine on the straight
The
there.
GTs are just being able to stick it. Like, that is...
Ooh, even pulling out, that looked very treacherous, just pulling out.
Yeah. See here down the field if there's anything happening.
Giving Bosworth a little gap to finish off, so let's just scroll down the field.
Yeah. FGR Dynamo still with a very dominating drive so far in that Audi. He's just been able to pull away from the start they had. 6-second gap. I'm impressed he's keeping that car that solid in these conditions.
Yeah, there's not too much movement, is there?
Yeah, no, that's the impressive part is he's been able to keep that car driving very solidly. The car has become a lot better since the last physics update. Before it was... I cannot imagine driving that thing before the update in these conditions. Safra in the Ferrari, doing all they can to try and keep up, catch if they can. And Tetsudo has put a big gap on the rules since he's passed them.
Yeah, 10 seconds in a very short space of time. Well, I think we should watch the Mercedes until at least the Mercedes arena. What say you?
Yeah, of course.
And there's the Mercedes going past the Mercedes grandstand.
Getting the blue flags waving. Which means we have a hypercar coming up to lap them again.
Oops.
Which would be Joe with the
Is
28.
that Joe, is it? Oh yeah, there he is. Joe's got a half a minute lead on DLL Director and 17 odd seconds behind Mrs. X, just coming up to overtake Jay Tetsudo now.
Yeah, and that the hypercar is not happy with the conditions. Both with slides out of that corner.
Gets it straightened up and on the power, through he goes.
And then it's flat all the way down to that final chicane, which is a heavy braking zone. One thing I want to touch on is the liveries on track. Which ones do you like?
Oh, shall we just have a quick scroll through and have a look?
Yeah. We have the number 70 for GTF, it seems like. I don't know the numbers of all what teams there is, but I think it's GTF because it says GTF on the side. Very it's good looking with, especially with the detail, that the strong yellow accent they have on it.
Well, I think I'd call the best livery from Bosworth and Hex probably a draw at the moment, on the grounds that they're identical.
Yeah. The two RX cars.
I like the TRG XX Pro livery out front.
Yeah, those accents really make it as well. The having those.
Yeah, the accents really do.
Because that could have just been normal black or white, but having that accent in such a highlighter color makes it pop a bit more.
Absolutely, it's that extra level of effort and detail that goes into it, isn't it? Joe 90 got the split blue and white one.
Yep, and that one again I should give input on because I made it.
You made the Joe 90 one, did you? Well, I think, yeah, I mean, now you've said that, Sim, I'm beginning to think that's going very high up my list now. Excellent livery.
It's a replica of the real-life Toyota livery, then obviously put into the B&R color scheme.
Yeah, I like DLL Echter's one as well. That's nice.
Yeah, that's the Team Don. which I'm unsure, but if I'm correct, it's one of the kind of sister, somewhat teams of DLL.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
Very good looking,
I like the black and orange, very nice.
with some
This
yellow.
is the one you were mentioning earlier, the Dynamo one with the yellow.
Yeah, that one is good.
Yeah, that's nice, isn't it? Very striking.
And very good sounding as well.
And it's very impressive when you can make your liveries good sounding.
Oh yeah. And behind that we have
I
the,
always like comfies.
yeah, the 999 from RRC.
Yeah.
Yeah, that replica livery of, it's a replica livery of one of the real life, I forgot if, yeah, Le Mans, pretty sure it raced. But then obviously with the color swap to make it have a dark grey or carbon fiber. I can't tell.
No, nor can I, and obviously the conditions and the weather and the spray don't really help on looking at the colours, but yeah, no, very... I like the Italian splay on the front and rear, nice job, looking very nice. I like that a lot, actually. And I have to say that, because I'm a member of the same club as him, so... I'm obligated to like that.
Yeah,
And the
so we both
same
have
with...
our own biases.
The same with Nushals, I'm afraid it's RRC, so yeah, I have to like that one, irrespective of anything else, but actually I do like it anyway.
Oh yeah, I kind of like that as well. Kind of circuit board style, kind of. Is my guess what it's made to look like?
Yeah, I haven't even seen in chat where he got the idea and the inspiration from, so I'm afraid I can't enlighten anyone further on that either, but I think everyone knows how to get in touch with him if anyone's interested.
Yeah.
What else have we got? False rules?
That is the same, yeah, it's GTF Racing. They've actually made that livery really good for that car as well. Obviously
Okay.
the same style as that hypercar they have currently running in first. But they've managed to make it work for both cars.
Yeah, they have, haven't they?
It's really well made, especially to make it work for two very different body styles.
Yeah, absolutely. Good spot, Symtik. I hadn't spotted that they were using identical or very similar liveries on two completely different types of car. Very nice. I think I prefer the LMP1 though over the GTE for some reason.
I mean, probably it looks a bit more aggressive.
Yeah, Schroeder with the day-glow green flashes and the orange, that's you're not going to miss that one.
Oh yeah, you're not. And that's another one of the Team Don. Yeah, that's Team Don number 433. It's actually, I mean, it's not a bad combo having that orange. And I like what
No,
they've
they
done
work
with the
well
hood.
together, don't they?
And what they've done on the hood as well looks good. The kind of green fading in from the windshield.
On the Schroeder one, yeah. And then we've got D79 Tornado.
With the Veltman Motorsports Huracan.
Yep, there's a lot going on with that.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
I just grabbed my sunglasses.
I mean, it looks good.
It looks great out on track.
Yeah, definitely. If I switch over to the broadcast camera angle real quick, and it's a really good looking livery.
In fact, as we're here come the leaders. Some more lapping of the GTE cars.
Yeah, got a clean open area to overtake right there, so it's good for him.
Yeah, good timing. Let's check out the people following. Should be coming up on the 2 GTEs shortly, I would imagine.
Yeah, they're only, yeah, one turn behind. Jesus, that the TRG Pro has put an even bigger gap on him. Up to 9 seconds now, and he's improved the fastest lap to 2:08.3.
Yeah, he's looking very comfortable, isn't he?
Yeah, just running away with it at this point.
And still no traction control, no other aids using. Very impressive.
Half-second penalty for
Half
Luxworth.
second. Yep. Who's also pulled out 3 seconds on Mr. Hex as well while we were scanning through some liveries.
Yeah. And especially, he just passed one we haven't got to yet.
That's one of the back markers.
The number 24, which I think is WSR. Pretty sure it's WSR.
And through the other one as well. Oh, Tornado. Easy Tornado in these conditions.
And behind we have Hex getting past the Lexus.
There we go, past the first one.
That's the second one on the outside.
Oh, very nice.
But yeah, just look at the speeds in these conditions. They just drop so far off the normals. Speed they would go around some of these corners.
Yeah, I've never actually measured it, but the speed differential between dry and these sort of conditions is pretty big, isn't it?
Oh, that's a big snap out of the Lexus. Very unfortunate because he was trying to make, he was right on the bumper of the Lamborghini. But he got onto a curb a little bit too much and it hooked the car going the other way.
Good spot, Sim. Missed the spin, but caught the end of it. Rejoins. Damage on the front there.
Yeah, he got that from the second time his car spun the rear.
And again, for anyone's listening who hasn't experienced these sort of conditions in these sort of cars, you get damage in wet conditions on these sort of cars. It makes all the difference to how the car feels, the handling, everything. So it's a massive disadvantage, I believe.
Yeah, it's not fun, but at the same time it is with how long you have to run. It's either you offer a lot of time by pitting way early and getting out of sequence, or you just accept it and have to drive with it.
Yeah, and we're still lap 18, 44 minutes into the race, so there's an awful long way to go till an hour and 16 till the end. DLL Director has got some damage on the front and the front right suspension as well. I missed that, I don't know what happened, but he's obviously clobbered something out on track.
No, the 455, the team done.
What? Ah, right, okay.
Is it that car? Or yeah, DLL Director, right?
DLL Director, yeah.
Yeah, he's been driving. Yeah, he picked that damage up on that lap 1 incident.
That was the early damage, was it? Okay.
Yep, he's been driving with it since. He's not wanting to offer the pit stop strategy for damage.
What would you be tempted to do, Sim, if you caught damage early on?
I mean, it all comes down to it's like you have to basically pick and choose what you're gonna offer. Do you offer potentially having to do another stop, because you had to stop so early? Or did you just say screw it and send it until you actually reach your pit stop window? He's doing one where you just send it with the damage and hope for the best. But
Yeah, I mean he's suffering. Oh dear, that's a little bit into the side there. No damage, hopefully. No.
Oh, Dynamo's had a big mistake at some point. Safra right on this bumper now. Within that second, he's gonna have slipstream now down the back. See, is there anything you can do? No, nothing you can do. Way too far back for the chicane.
Shame for Dynamo, as he got such a clean and quick start.
Yeah. But he seems to be trying to expand that gap again now. Slipstream is what's keeping Masafra behind right now. I mean, Masafra, I'm guessing, is doing everything they can to try and get on the bumper of that Audi.
Masafra lap time 2:17.9 as well, which is pretty impressive for GTE.
Oh yeah, especially in these conditions.
In these conditions, fantastic that. Yeah. Yeah, about a second quicker than Dynamo in front of him, so on the grounds that he scored him this quickly, I'd say he'll be looking to go past fairly shortly.
That was a big lap. That's been a big lap. The lap before from Mr. Hex. 208.008.
Wow.
With Busworth's best lap time being a 208.302. And then TRG Pros with a 208.313.
So, Mr. Hex, 3/10 quicker than anything we've seen from the LMP ones so far.
Yep.
Good job.
And he's still going quicker. He seems to be purple by about 0.25. We'll see if he can keep this lap together. It might be a really fast one.
This looks like another slide down maybe into Dunlop. No, maybe not. Not close enough.
Is it Dunlop still? Or is it...
Have they renamed it now? Sorry if I'm calling it the wrong name.
I don't know. Because I feel like some tracks have changed them. Like because some tracks it's just depending on sponsor, I feel like, and they'll change the name.
Yeah,
Oh,
I did notice when I had a little look earlier. Oh, yeah.
Which is very unfortunate because he was still going purple through that second sector time zone. It's very unfortunate.
Well, I apologise to anyone listening who knows better than I do if it's not called the Dunlop anymore. I'm afraid I'm old school, so it would be Dunlop to me.
Yeah, I don't even know, because the track map I have, it's Goodyear, but it's, I don't know,
Okay.
it's Dunlop or Goodyear. I have no clue.
Well, we're using different track maps, Sim, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I have Yokohama, turn 1 is Yokohama corner. It's the Yokohama turn, and then AMG Arena. And then it's just like Ravenel curve, Bielstein curve. Yeah, it's, I don't know.
I don't know either, I'm sorry. Apologies, listener. Apologies, listeners. We'll certainly do our research before next year's race at Nürburgring GP and make sure we know what the up-to-date corner names are.
One thing is, where's the tyre wear?
Yeah, I'm looking, and I keep going to Bosworth as he's on the intermediates, and I'm not seeing anything.
We are 24 lap in the Group 1
Oh,
cars.
it's ridiculous.
And they haven't seen a smidge of damage to the tires. We're getting to the point where it's starting to get borderline ridiculous.
Is it my imagination, or can you just see a little line appearing on the front of TRG XX Pro XXX now on the front tyres, or is that my eyesight?
I don't know. I'm leaning forward as far as I can.
I've actually got off my chair to sit in front of the TV just to see if there's any tyre wear, and I'm struggling. Yeah, I think there is. If I switch between Bosworth and TRG, I think you can just see that there is some tyre wear there now.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's a sliver of tyre wear on TRG now. But nothing on Bosworth, who's on the intermediates, which is interesting. And there appears to be a little bit on Mr. Hex as well. So, from what I'm seeing from my screen, the Inters are actually holding up slightly better than the wets, but at the end of the day the wear is negligible, so not really going to have a big impact on this race, is it?
Yeah, no. One of the big things that's going to have an impact though is the fuel.
Yeah, TRG, about a quarter of a tank. Bosworth's got even more, done some good saving. Hex is the lowest of the front three on fuel.
Yeah.
Joe's about the same as Hex. Derechter's got a lot. That's
1 second penalty on top of that as well.
what have we got on the GTEs? So GTEs are beginning to run out.
Yeah, that Audi is out, basically.
I think Dynamo's probably got, what, 2-3 laps more, maybe?
1, maybe. It's flashing.
You think as little as 1? Okay. Massafra, as usual, doing his superb fuel-saving job. Got a lot more than the car in front, which may benefit him at the pit stop, possibly.
Yeah, it's either if he pits to respawn, he pits... It's like if he could box at the same time, but because he has more fuel, he'll have a shorter stop.
Absolutely, and that's exacerbated today by the fact that the fuel refuelling speed is only 2 litres a second, so it's extremely slow. So, Massafra's looking good on fuel, yeah. Tetsudo's looking low, but not quite as low as Dynamo. So we're moving towards the fuel stop window for the GTE class, I believe.
Yeah, a lot of cars seems to be into the red. BMW might have to go this lap. They could potentially do one more. Other than that, basically almost all of the GT cars are into the red. Masafra has just finally ticked into the red.
Looks like Force Rules and Dynamo are the lowest, so let's stick with Dynamo, especially as we've got Gene Massafra right behind him. Still trying to get past. But expect to see some pit stops shortly.
Quick update, fastest lap in the others lobby is a 206.754.
Wow.
That is quick.
I mean, 1.3 seconds, Sim. Wow. Obviously got some Dynamo fans in chat here. Miss Anthropolix77, go Dynamo go, great job so far, nice.
See here, does he drive in? He dives in.
And here we go, first pit stop then.
See this.
The leader of the GTE class comes in. G Massafra takes over the lead of GTE.
Surprising to me that Massafra decided to stay out and not respond to stop at the same time. Massafra could have potentially made a position by stopping at the same time because of fuel difference.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on that when he does his pit stop, see where they come out in relation to each other.
Yeah, no tires, all fuel. He's pulling the Lightning McQueen. No tires, just fuel.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no need for tires.
No. I mean, there is nowhere, effectively. Sorry if we're boring you about the tyre wear, viewers, but...
Yeah, no,
it's quite interesting because we don't often see this, do we?
Yeah, no. He's taken just over half a tank, actually. That should get him to the end. Because we're getting to almost that 1 hour mark. Forest Rules is in.
Yeah. I would be extremely surprised if Dynamo does anything different to a one stop, unless, of course, conditions cause some sort of incident and he has to pitch again for damage or something, so let's hope not. But that should be Dynamo to the end.
Forest Rules took tires for some reason. Let's see if he's making the switch over to intermediates, if he just took a new set of wets. As that's a few seconds wasted by taking a new set of tires in these conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know what you think, Sim, but I would say, what, 3-4 seconds maybe for the tyres?
Yeah, and then at the same time, the time he's going to lose out on track. Because he's just taking off the wet tires. He's taken
soft, and I think,
that's definitely
viewers, I think you can see that he's taken soft.
I think he's done that by mistake then.
Do we think it's a misclick on the button?
Yep. That must be a misclick. There's no other way you're taking a set of softs in these conditions other than it being a misclick. And that has really just ruined his entire stint. Yeah,
that's...
there is no recovery from that.
I feel very, very, very sad for him because I've been in that position.
Yeah,
and it's horrific. It's utterly horrific, especially if it's a misclick, because you know you've made the mistake, and then, what, 3-4 spins within the case of 4 corners, make that 5 spins. I mean, it's undrivable.
He's max TCS is my guess, and you can do nothing.
Yeah, TCS 5, minimum throttle, limp it round, get some more tyres. But that, as you say, that's destroyed his race pretty much.
Yeah, that's a lot of minutes wasted.
Yeah.
So this lap is going to be about probably around 3 minutes plus.
And just to rub salt into the wounds, 6 seconds penalty, which I guess is pit lane cutting on the way in, pit lane cutting on the way out.
Yeah, seems to be. Which means he's most likely going to have to serve him this lap as well.
Yeah,
Which then again means he has to be careful on the pit entry.
Absolutely, great driving by Force Rules there, getting out the way of everyone, making sure he doesn't impede anyone else despite his own misfortune, and no doubt pretty cross in the cockpit, I would guess. Yeah, straight off, look at it.
Yeah, there is nothing. He can't stop. Yeah, it's no fun.
Very sorry for you, Force Rules, and on that note, I think we'll move on because that is a little bit too painful to watch.
Massafra still staying out, Tornado ducking in.
Okay, who have we got? Tornado. Let's see what he does with tyres. Make sure you press the right button, guys.
It's in no tires,
Yeah.
which is what we're going to see from, I think, every driver. Just one unfortunate. Yep, and he's not only is he getting just over 4-minute lap time, he's now gonna have to live with having to get slowed down even more.
Yeah, and needs fuel to the end as well, obviously, so that should be a one stop. If there are no incidents.
Tetsuro's in, he's done the same. No tires, just fuel.
Here's Nushel. Joe Tetsudo, no tyres and fuel, as you say. This should be his one stop.
Yep, he's taking
There
half
he
an hour,
comes.
which is gonna be the 1 hour he needs.
Yeah.
And then behind him, Schroeder is in.
Schroeder coming in as well.
Yeah, Schroeder's done the same.
Yeah. No tyres, fuel only.
FTR Dynamo is waiting for that Ferrari to go in.
There comes Schroeder. Should be able to go to the end. Let's have a look at G Massafra, who still hasn't pitted and starts another lap.
That is... It's risky business. Continue.
Yeah.
Especially with the gap.
I've seen him do this so many times, Tim.
Yeah.
He is...
back yet? He is... Yep, he's back out.
Who's that, sorry?
He's back out again on a set of wets, finally.
Was that Force Rules, was it?
Yeah. It's not a fun lap time though.
Finally got some wets, but also managed to pick up another penalty just to add
yeah,
some
that
more
pit
salt.
lane exit is brutal.
Yeah, it is.
That, yeah, you see the lap time has just... It can tell you exactly how bad the mistake of misclicking on something like that is. With a, what was it, like a 534, a 542,
Yeah.
it's...
It's painful, isn't it? Bear in mind his quickest lap is 2 minutes 20 and he's just run a 5:42 having selected the wrong tyres.
Bosworth seems to have had a few moments along the way, because Mr. Hicks has made the pass. Oh, that's a slide from Bosworth.
Okay, so teammate swap position. Looks like Bosworth had an incident on those inters.
Let's see here. Is Masafra gonna go for another lap?
You don't think he can, do you? But I reckon he can squeeze another
No, he
lap
can.
out.
But I think for his own, to make sure he doesn't lose any time.
Looks like another lap to me, and it is. Wow.
Direct is in.
Director's in, okay, so he can finally repair that damage, which will be nice.
Wow, the amount of fuel he still has left. He still has that much fuel left. He almost has a quarter left, and it's been over an hour.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, isn't it, with 50% starting fuel?
Yeah, that's the reason why we moved it to 50. If you started on 100, there wouldn't have been many pit stops at all from the hypercars.
No, DLL Director has also picked himself up a pit lane penalty on the way in, so that's 3 seconds. What have we got? I mean, look at Joe 90's fuel. He's got loads of fuel.
Yeah, he's been in.
He's pitted. Bosworth, he's still got quite a lot of fuel. He's not pitted yet. Mr. Hex is pretty low.
Yeah, all of them are starting to get down there.
Yeah. Mr. Hex is more critical than TRG, XX Pro and Bosworth, but they're all pretty low. A quick recap, not everybody has pitted yet, but TRG XX Pro XXX is leading by 20 seconds from Mr. Hex, who also hasn't pitted, who has just overtaken his teammate Alex Bosworth, who also hasn't pitted, and still the only car to have used intermediates in this race so far.
Yep. Mustafa must be coming in this time around.
Surely.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. So Bosworth followed in by Massafra. Bosworth pit crew in their striking pink suits.
I went over to Bosworth, his entire pit crew is pink.
Yes, I'm just looking at them now. Lovely, aren't they?
Yeah. Which means his driving gear is pink. That is lovely though. Oh, he's swapped over to the wets.
So, he's ditched the inters, gone for the wets. Interesting.
So, either he didn't mean to start on the intermediates. It's interesting either way.
Yeah, it is.
He potentially wasn't meant to start on them.
Is that how you would maybe read that? That he started the race on the incorrect tyres?
Yeah, I think he was maybe out testing the intermediates before it started, but he maybe didn't have enough time to go swap before the start.
Right.
I mean, which is on him, but I mean, it's not like the intermediates seem to be on pace anyway. Doesn't seem like they've been slower at all.
No, and I think, you know, when you look at the lap times...
That overcut has helped Masafra a lot. That's a 10-second gap.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at him and Dynamo. I mean, look at that, 10 seconds.
From what was it, like a 4 or 5 lap overcut? That's a big gap.
Yeah, so G Masafra takes over the lead of the GTE class after those
at
pit
least
stops.
On track with a stint.
On track, yeah. Ten seconds down to Dynamo. 24 seconds back to Jay Tetsudo, who's 52 seconds ahead of Schroeder, so... Top three have got a decent gap, haven't they? In GTE, on track.
Yep. Yeah, it's a 53-second gap back behind Tetsudo.
That's Bosworth.
Oh my god.
Last force rules. He's finally on the right tyres, got himself going, no penalties, good to see. So, Mr. Hex, we are now waiting for his pit stop and TRG XX Pro XXX, so we'll see where they're going to appear on track compared to Bosworth when they finish their pit stops.
TRG and Mr. Hicks still out there without a pit stop. Mr. Hicks with less than TRG.
Mr. Hex with the quickest lap so far. 2 minutes 8.008, but TRG XX Pro is currently purple.
See if he can go faster. Oh, that's purple by by 0.244. He still needs to find more if he wants to go fastest. Pretty sure.
Got a nice light car now with that lack of fuel, so that's helping him out somewhat.
Yeah, but so does Mr. Hex.
Let's see, he's going to complete this lap. Is he going to get the quickest lap? I don't think so, is he?
If he's been able to keep it through the final?
You were quite right, Sim. He needed to find some more there.
And he ended up losing all of it. That's a 209.9, almost a 210. Mr. Hex, yeah, Mr. Hex, yeah, Mr. Hex is in.
Here we go then. So, second place, Mr. Hex, for his one stop. And we'll see if the undercut from his teammate Bosworth has worked or it hasn't.
About 30 seconds behind, he's going round the final turn now. Let's see here. Bosworth has taken back his position. Yeah, he is way clear of Hex. See, that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that earlier pit stop, undercut, whatever you want to call it, has worked out really well for Eric Bosworth, hasn't it?
Yep, he's now 10 seconds ahead.
Bear in mind, he had a mistake just before the pit stops and Mr. Hex overtook him, so yeah, good work for the undercut there. Mr. Hex has got some work to do to hunt down his teammate once again.
Yep.
And the leader still hasn't pitted.
Is he the last one to have to pit? Direct has pitted. Yeah, Direct is pitted. It's picked up damage again. Direct actually has the least amount of fuel out of everyone.
And TRG XX Pro is coming around for another lap. Let's have a look at Director. He obviously hasn't pitted yet either, so...
No, Director was in. He had damage to his right front. He's pit in once.
Okay, well in that case he can't have put much fuel in.
Yeah, I mean he's probably running a lower mix. That's probably why.
Would you consider running a different mix?
I mean, out of corners you can swap it to mix 6 and we'll get you a little bit less power. Potential for better exit.
So playing the conditions a bit with a different fuel mix maybe?
Yeah, like just out of corners maybe mix 6 if you're good and fast enough at switching it. And then as soon as you're able to have the traction down, you can just all the way up to 1 again.
Yeah, unfortunately he's got damage again, so...
Yeah, that's not a fun damage as well, because that's the one that makes you slower. That's front end damage. We'll see here at around the 1 hour and 20 minute mark. The current grid is TRG Pro. Boss were 52 seconds behind, because oh yeah, Pro is yet to stop. That's why he's 52 seconds behind.
Yeah.
Mr. Hex in 3rd so far. Joe in 4th. Direct in 5th. That's the hypercar. And then we have Masafra still having that 10-second lead to Dynamo. Dynamo having about a 27-second lead back to Tetsuro. And then the gaps from there on are just massive. 59, like around 60 seconds back to Schroeder. A minute 30 back to Tornado, and then it's just 15 back to Verpol, and then a minute back to Forest Rules. And that's TRG Pro in.
And here he is, at last. Leader of LMP1 comes in.
And he still has laps in the car. He has a bunch of fuel left. He's taken tires?
Interesting.
That is... yeah, interesting. I'm wondering if he's swapped to the intermediates. We'll see here on the exit.
Let's see how your fortune telling is, Sim.
Nope, he's still on the wets.
No, still on the wets, but he did decide to change, which a lot of the other guys
Which is
didn't.
interesting, because it means his tires are now going to be very cold.
Hmm.
Because those other tires would finally should feel good, because they were up to temp. So he's now put on a new set that are going to be very cold.
Bosworth's just coming round the first corner, so TRG, he is struggling a bit, but he has got a chunk of track between him and Bosworth. Would you like to see some more telemetry sim in terms of tyre temperatures and the like in order to make better decisions during races in GT7?
Oh yeah, we definitely need that in like the MFT display down bottom right. We definitely need a page with our tire temps. Because that would really help. And then there is...
I believe so, but...
Yeah, it would be good. And then there's one other tuning aspect I would like in the game. It's the PSI.
Right, okay, so you'd like some more temp information and pressure information as well. That would...
Yeah, and especially for tuning, so you can have, so you can start with lower PSI in your tires. Because that's how it works. When at lower temperature, you can start with less pressure in the tires, and then when they get up to temperature, they'll rise in PSI. So
Yeah, I
wish that
think
was a
that would
tuning
be...
aspect in this game.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good addition for Gran Turismo. Whether it will ever come, who knows? But
It
yeah, I think
probably
that...
never would. It would be a fun, interesting one, because I mean, obviously, the less pressure you run in your tires, the more wear you're gonna do, and the harder you run them, the less.
Yeah, absolutely, which opens up all sorts of tuning and tactical options, which is the reason why a lot of people would like to see this extra information, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, being able to tune your PSI, your tire PSI, means you can start with very low tire pressures and have really fast laps. Which, I mean, for qualifying, being able to run low PSI, especially in the GT cars, would probably help. That's even more grip out of corners. At the same time, you could potentially be offering some speed. But that would be fun to see. Like the F1 game, being able to adjust your how much air is in your tires.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you can do it in several of the other driving games, can't you?
Yeah, I feel like it would be such a simple addition to this game. It's just add tire pressure that we can tune.
Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly not a programmer or anything, but I can't imagine it would be that difficult, would it?
No, in reality, I feel like it's more or less just a slider of more grip, more wear, less grip, less wear.
Right, well, I'll get that letter started then. Dear Kaz, tyre temperatures and pressures.
Give us more options. Give us a game that actually feels like a simulator.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of debate around at the moment about, is it a simulator? Is it a arcade game? Is it a sim arcade?
Yeah,
what do people want it? And I guess it's hard to please everyone, isn't it? So yeah.
I mean, it's because I mean you have the in-betweens to be able to put it between. You have iRacing, that's full sim, which if you compare this to that, this is nowhere near that. And then you have the full arcade racers like the Crew, which this is it's not close enough to that. So it's like it's a simcade. It's between. You have the simulation aspects, realistic for the most part, but there is also that feeling of it. There it's slightly arcade sometimes.
Yeah. And to be fair, the variable weather conditions and even being able to run wet races is a fairly new development anyway for Gran Turismo. So seeing all of this is, I think we're all still getting used to it to some extent or another. So
not only that, the tracks you can have the potential of getting rain on if you're running just a normal thing. It's very limited. Because in this game it cannot rain on every track, which is very sad. Because I feel like that ruins the full potential of having that. Of hey, saying we're gonna add this, so you have changeable weather conditions. Oh, but don't forget that it's only available on certain tracks. Because it's like there's no American tracks I'm pretty sure that has rain.
No, not that I can think of.
And the few ones that do have rain is like Nürb and like Spa, and obviously these main big ones. And then there's the Japanese tracks.
Presumably now they've got rain on some of these tracks, the fact that they've, you know, done all the programming and the coding and everything, presumably over time it will be relatively straightforward for them to introduce it to more and more tracks, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I don't even think it's that hard. It's literally just make a rain. They could just activate rain for that track, and then you have rain.
Yeah. So maybe over time more and more tracks will become weather dependent a little bit more, which again will please some people and I guess displease others. So it depends whether you like the variable weather conditions or not.
Yeah.
But in terms of realism and realistic racing, sometimes I'm not a big fan of the wet, but generally speaking it makes the whole thing a lot more lifelike, I think.
Yeah, it makes it lifelike, but the thing then is, we have our preferences what conditions we like to drive in.
Yeah.
And these conditions
And of course you have to learn to drive again.
Yeah, I mean, these are conditions I would not get in and drive. Reason why we have a guy on the team that likes driving in the wet.
Alex Bosworth's got a fastest lap of 2:07.021, I see.
Oh,
fastest
Jesus.
of the race in this lobby, which is knocked a chunk off the previous one. TRG was purple
second.
again. Coming up to the final chicane, let's see if he loses the time at the end or whether he can set another one.
That is a lot of time from Bosworth. That's the second faster than the previous lap. Fastest lap.
Yeah. And again, TRG purple first two sectors, but
losing it all in the second
can't convert it in the final sector. And the 2:07.0 that Bosworth's just done, fastest lap in this lobby, is fairly comparable to the fastest lap you mentioned in the other lobby, isn't it?
Yeah, 2:06.574.
Oh, they're down at 5 now, okay.
Yeah, their fastest is half a second faster than this lobby. Which is actually, it's a lot of time. Half a second on a track like this. In the wet especially, it's a lot of time.
So since the pit stop, TRG came out about 20 seconds, lost around 3 or 4 early on with the cold tyres, but the gap seems to have stabilised between the lead and second place now to around 16-17 seconds. Looking fairly comfortable. Bosworth 17 seconds ahead of Hex. Believe that's increased a bit, Sim, is that correct?
The gap between Bosworth and TRG?
No, Bosworth and Hex. I think.
Oh yeah, that's expanded.
That's extended a bit, hasn't it? They were about 10 seconds, weren't they, when they came out the pits?
Yep.
So, Alex Bosworth doing a good job on his brand new wets, I seem to recall. Or was it Hex on the new ones? Oh, Hex got another penalty again. And a minute behind 4th place in LMP1, so... There'll have to be some fairly major occurrences for anyone else to get into the top 3 positions of LMP1 now, I think.
Yeah, it's 58 seconds. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we're running and 3/4 of the way through. Oh, careful, Hex. 3/4 of the way through this race, about half an hour left now.
Yep.
Let's check out the GTEs.
Surfer still holding that 11-second gap. Dynamo has expanded to 33 seconds back to Tetsudo. And then from there on, it's just massive gaps.
And then it's a minute. So, yeah, same in GTEs as LMP1s, really. It's the top 3, unless there's anything major going to be happening. Doesn't look like the top 3 is going to change that much.
Yeah, no, I mean, the closest gap we have is between 10th and 11th right now. Veltman Motorsports and S. Verpol. Only separated by 5 seconds. So I don't really know what car to follow for now.
I'm sort of having the same dilemma.
There's gaps between everything. There isn't really any fights. And most people are just settling in to just follow the rhythm. They don't
Pretty
really have
much.
a reason to push or be overly aggressive. I mean, they just have it to bring it home. And just keep a solid lap time all the way through.
Yeah, I think that's it now, isn't it? I've been very impressed with the drivers, actually, considering the conditions. There's been very few incidents, have there?
I've seen the first red tire wear.
Oh, who from?
Dynamo.
Let's have a look. Let's go and have a look at some real live tyre wear. Wow.
It's like the most minimalistic red you can have.
I'm having to leave the seat again and go and stare at the TV from close range.
It's been 40 laps, and that's all.
That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, nothing there. Well, I don't know if anyone's listening in the chat, but if you are, if you want to have a look at anybody in particular or follow anyone that you're cheering on, shout out in chat and we'll switch to them, because Symtik and myself aren't entirely sure who to follow at the moment.
Yeah, there isn't much going on. Other than Group 1 just trying to make a space. Oh, that's a big slide from Joe. The man himself.
Somebody should be focusing on their driving, shouldn't they?
Yeah, I think so as well.
Well, I can't. Having said it, let's have a look at D79 Tornado, who's in dreadful conditions at the Nürburgring and typing in chat that he wants to watch himself. So, come on then. If it doesn't do a 222 though, Sim, I'll be moving on, I think.
Yeah.
Nearly Tornado. But no cigar, I'm afraid. But you got your coverage. Jay Tetsudo is now 34 seconds behind Dynamo. That seems to have increased a bit to me. Dynamo's 13 seconds behind G Massafra. Looking fairly comfortable for GTE. G Massafra with 24 minutes left. DLL de Echter running 5th in LMP1, J90 running 4th, Mr Hex running 3rd, Alex Bosworth got a half a second penalty running 2nd, and he's now around 10 seconds behind the leader, TRG XX Pro XXX. Let's see if he can catch up the leader a little bit once he's served his penalty. Another fastest lap from Alex Bosworth, a 2:06.918.
He's not getting that 222. I think I should move on.
Yeah, I've moved on already.
Yeah, let's see, is there anyone else in chat? Anyone else want to see any car? There is 12 to choose from. I think there's one person in chat who wants to see a specific car, but they haven't said anything. It looks wet but nice. Yeah, no, it's very, very wet on track. It is into the second box, the dark blue area, which is borderline aquaplaning. Oh,
yeah,
Bosworth went
he's...
faster.
Didn't he just?
2:06.910.
Yeah, fastest lap for Bosworth again, but still hovering around 10 seconds to the leader.
Yeah, that gap is close then.
Oh, it's coming down. Has something happened to TRG here?
No, he's just been running 2:10s for the last few laps. And Bosworth had a few 209, 208, and that 206.
Okay, so has TRG held a little back as Alex Bosworth is on a charge all of a sudden?
Could potentially be that he switched tires. I mean, they should be up to temp at this point.
Yeah, and of course the first half of the race he was on Inters, so he's sort of still getting used to these wets, isn't he?
Misanthropic switch GT. I have a feeling if I'm right here with the FGR teams.
I seem to recall Misanthropolix is cheering on Dynamo, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, let's switch to his man and see how he's doing in the Audi. Mr. Hex getting very squirrely, trying to get past Dynamo there. Not the easiest job for these LMP ones today, getting past the GTEs, because the GTEs keep coming back at them.
Misanthropolix in the chat, but I'm more interested in the Ferrari right now. Oh, Comfy off. Comfy had a spin.
Sorry, who had a spin, Sim?
Masafra. Had a spin going into the hairpin. Gap is going to close down from 15 seconds, so see how far it falls. Round 11? Yeah, it looks to be around 11 now. That is not what you want to do now, with 18 minutes to go.
No, it's not, and I find it interesting. Lap 43, he's set his quickest lap of the race so far. Is that what you'd be doing, or would you just be looking to bring it home now?
I'd be looking to bring it home the entire time.
Yeah, I would as well, but I'm not as brave as Comfy.
In these treacherous conditions, it's just bring it home. Especially since I'm not the best driver.
Mr. Massafra seems to thrive on the edge. Well, Miss Anthropolix is pleased anyway in the chat, so that's good.
Yeah. I mean,
we like a happy listener.
I mean, it's sort of insider information. Oh, improving.
Oh, G Massafra wide again. Gathered it all up though. Mr. Hex about to come past him. And as they come across the start-finish line, we've got ourselves 15 minutes left of this race. Well, let's have a quick run down through the field, shall we?
Yep.
TRG, XX Pro, XXX, still out in front.
Yep.
Gaps down to low 8 seconds, so Bosworth's still pushing, but should be comfortable-ish. Oh, no, down to 6 seconds, okay. Bosworth's picked up a half a second penalty though, that's going to slow him up a little.
Yep.
But he's now got 33, 34 seconds on Mr. Hex, so that looks comfortable now, which very close between the two teammates earlier in the race.
With a minute 17 back to Joe. Another minute 20 back to DLL Director. There is some big gaps. And in the GT we have Zafra, followed by Dynamo, 12 seconds, almost 13 back. Followed by Tetsuru, 38 seconds back. And a minute 18, Schroeder doesn't even give me a gap back to Tornado. Oh, Tornado's like a lap behind Schroeder, I think.
Yeah, I think timing screen's just recorrecting itself, isn't it?
No, yeah, Schroeder is right behind Tornado. He's chasing him down like 2 turns behind. Yeah, 2:08. And 10 seconds between Tornado and Verpol. Versball, whatever, however you say his name, and then it's Force Rules, and 24 seconds back.
I have to say, Sim, take my hat off to Force Rules, bearing in mind the problems he had with the wrong tyres and possibly the misclick in the pits. He's come back pretty well, I think, don't you?
Oh yeah, it's a big time gap he had, and he's been able to put it back to 22 seconds. It's a lot. He's driven well.
Yeah, I think, I don't know how he's feeling, but I would imagine that with a bit of reflection, is a pretty good drive and a very good recovery from everything that happened.
But yeah, he's definitely not happy with himself after that mistake.
No. Nice bit of sideways action from Dynamo there. Let's watch him come past.
My main guess is he was trying to do, like, he was from using the arrows. He was trying to probably go for the don't change tires, but press X too early. Because I think if you just like the double tap the arrow up or down, either you go up to the softs or you go down to the do not change.
That would certainly explain it, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's also just like it's a split second of you not thinking about it. It could be enough for you to accidentally press X on the softs.
Yeah, and it's so easy to do when you're under stress, under pressure, piling into the pits. You just want to get it done and dusted, get back on track, get battling again. It's just so easy to misclick.
Oh yeah. Especially when you're an hour in as well.
Yeah. I'm sure there are some people who've never misclicked, but I'm not sure I know anybody.
I've done it multiple times, it's not fun.
Right, we're under 10 minutes to go. G Massafra pulled out to 15 seconds from Dynamo. And we've got Director in 5th in LMP1, Joe 90 in 4th in LMP1, 1 minute 21 to third, Mr. Hex, who's 36 seconds to Eric Bosworth, who's under 5 seconds now to TRG XX Pro XXX. Bosworth has picked up another second penalty, but he's definitely closing towards the end of this race, Tim.
Who? Where?
Eric Bosworth closing in under 5
that's down to
seconds
4.4
to
seconds.
TRG.
Yeah, he's been
I
pushing.
know he's got
his
a...
lap times.
Yeah, I mean, the lap times are really impressive, aren't they?
207, 207, 209, and 208. And then, yeah, he's been running 210. Let's see. 210, 209, 211, 209. See, yeah, Bosworth's been faster on every lap.
Yeah.
For the last 4 laps straight.
So, I think with 8 minutes to go, unless anything else happens in the field, I think we'll stick with Bosworth for now, don't you?
Yeah, we can do.
Or is there somewhere you'd like to go, Sim?
No, we can follow Bosworth. He's getting closer. It's down to 2.5.
You never know, viewers. There may be an exciting climax here after all. Just over 3 seconds now.
Yeah.
He's got his man in sights. Can he do anything in the 6.5 minutes left?
He's losing time. He's lost about 2 seconds. And I don't know from where, because they're doing like identical lap times. So I don't know where he lost 2.5 seconds from. It must be this lap then. Oh, purple first sector from TRG.
Yeah, that's okay. So he's spotted Eric Bosworth coming, and he's pulled the pin again. Obviously driving to the finish and got a little bit spare.
Yeah.
Well, I know I've said it already, but I've been very impressed with everyone, considering the conditions. There's been very, very few incidents, really, hasn't there?
Let's see here as TRG Pro comes up on that 3rd sector timing line. It's gonna be right behind
TRG is also behind Jay Tetsuda at the moment, so that may hold him up a little bit. He's gone past him now. Oh, sideways.
Oh, Tetsuda's in the wall. Nope, he's not. He's just in the grass.
No, he saved it. Well done. Well done, Nurshel. Good save. Just over 2 seconds now. Can Eric Bosworth hold it together in the first sector and maintain that gap? Yeah, it's been a good drive and some nice racing from these two at the front. Yeah, lost a second again on the leader TRG XX Pro XXX. Are you driving today at all, Sim?
No,
No.
it's just Sampa and Joe, the only two drivers.
So 5 minutes to go. Your work is done. Yeah.
Yep. Where is what is the DLL1 car again? Which number is that? I'm trying to remember which team is the DLL1. We're asking shot. Because we have the Don car, just not the car. We don't even have a DLL car in our lobby. I just realized we only had two. We have the two Don cars with Shudder and the Director. So I think all the DLL cars are taken for are in lobby 1.
I don't know why that is, but I leave these things to people who know a lot more than I do in the Auger team. So.
Odds and evens is how it's split. If I remember correctly, and I should because I'm on the worker team.
Well, I hope I haven't spoken too much rubbish today, Sim, because you clearly know a lot more than I do.
I don't a lot of the time.
I'm good at speaking rubbish. Under 2 seconds now, Eric Bosworth to TRG Pro. Is there still a chance of a win with about a minute and a half to go?
They should get another lap in, I think. Yeah, they'll get another lap in.
I think so.
Purple from Bosworth.
Yeah, but
Which means he's pushing. He wants that on-track win.
absolutely. Doesn't every driver?
Yeah, to be fair, we'll get to, if he wins, we'll get to see his race soon and him in the picture.
Still purple for Bosworth. Gap's 1.7. Half a chance here. And they're going to make it round the final corner. And they're going to do one more lap.
Yep, our top two.
So, the top two, under 2 seconds.
A 2:0. See what he runs. He ran at 2:07. The other guy drove at 2:08.2, his fastest of the race. But Bosworth is still half a second quicker that lap.
Very timely fastest lap of the race from TRG XX Pro, I have to say. And although Bosworth's closing, unless there's a mistake, I can't really see him
It
getting
seems
that
like they both
close.
have their strong sections. The first section
Yeah.
seems to be TRG Pro strong, but he seems to lose a lot of time in the second half.
Yeah. TRG, we've noticed quite a lot of in purple, haven't we? And then losing it on the third sector, so...
Which is slightly unfortunate, that they seem to have their different strong sections. Because if they were strong all over the track, we could have seen a fight.
27 force of lane. Okay, Mr. Hex finished the race. Jay Tetsudo finished the race. G Massifra wins the GTE class in 6th. What's just happened, Sim?
What?
What's just happened?
That's what happened? Did a bunch of people get...
Well, they... Why is everyone in the pit?
It's ended.
They hadn't finished though, had they?
Yes, everyone did.
Had they all finished?
Yep. They
Oh,
were
thank God for that.
all the last finishers were in the same last corner.
Right, okay, thank God for that. I'm so relieved. I thought something had happened my end then.
I'll end the stream there.